Yeah, senior week, 27 men who have, in my opinion, been true sons for the state of Missouri. Some chose Missouri uh, all the way from high school. Um, some chose Missouri through the transfer portal, but all of them unique in their own stories. I think have forged together a really strong brotherhood that makes up the University of Missouri 2024 football team. It's a proud group, a very resilient group, a strong group, a tough, committed, determined group. And I look forward to sending them out at a sold-out Faroe field that they worked very hard to make our fans so proud that they're here for, I think it's the 12th or 13th straight sellout. And that's a tribute to the guys that, like I said to the team afterwards, after practice yesterday, the group who came here in a coaching transition, they didn't choose it because of sold out crowds. They didn't choose it because of what it is now. They chose it because they believed it would become that. And they worked really hard for 5, 6, 7 years, all of them, to get it to this point. And so I'm really, really proud of this class. One senior, Mookie Cooper, revealed today on Snapchat that he had surgery, and so would like to announce that he had a season-ending surgery today. Obviously, Mookie's a very special player to us and to myself. Came here from a transfer. Again, one of those guys who came and chose Mizzou when we needed him the most. And his last real play of the year is going to be remembered as the one that sparked us to beat Auburn. And so, got a ton of respect for Mookie, the way he goes about his business, his commitment to our team and unselfishness, and we're certainly going to miss it. Very proud of him. Now to the game this week, Arkansas, the Battle Line rivalry. It's a great rivalry and a really good football team. I think Coach Pittman has done a tremendous job at the University of Arkansas. I just saw a stat today where I think he's the first coach in their history that's gone to 4 bowl games in the first 5 seasons that he's been there. Has done an excellent job recruiting and reshaping that roster from last year. They're very talented. Went into the transfer portal, got the right pieces, continually makes great hires. When you look at the hires that Coach Pittman's had in his coordinator position since he's been there, he's done an excellent job. Coach Odom, who's done a tremendous job while he was there as a DC, and obviously now at UNLV. Coach Briles, while they were there. Coach Fountain, his special teams coordinator who I worked with at Auburn, has been consistently good. Travis Williams, now the defensive coordinator. They play fast, they play physical, they play inspired football. Beat Tennessee at home, a top 5, I think a top 10 team this year. Excellent job. And then obviously Coach Petrino on the offensive side of the ball, one of the best play callers in college football, one of the best offensive minds in college football. There's really not a scenario or a situation that's going to be new or unique to him. So it's a really, really challenging football game. They've got, like I said, really good quarterback. I think their offensive side of the ball, and I may mispronounce his name, but Talon Green, Jaquindon Jackson, the tight end Luke Halls, the wide receiver Andrew Armstrong. Really, really good skill positions, and Coach Petrino uses them in the right way. Defensively, Landon Jackson, one of the best defensive ends in our conference. I think the linebacker group plays really well downhill. Xavier Sori is a guy that bounces off the tape at you. In the back end, Hudson Clark, we played him for 5 straight seasons. I remember playing him as a true freshman out here during the COVID season. And a lot of these guys, similar to South Carolina, we played a lot and have a lot of respect for them as a football team and as a program. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Eli, we've talked a lot about Luther's impact coming out of St. Louis, but what did Mookie do for you in kind of being able to establish yourself in the city?
Yeah, exactly. I vividly remember it was during COVID. He had announced that he was going to transfer, and I was in St. Louis with my family, and we were talking to him on the phone about, hey, this is the right decision for you, and he was being recruited by a lot of people, but just selling him on coming back home and being a point of pride for the city of St. Louis, and he's been a tremendous resource for us.
You mentioned the guys that have been here since high school, and what's it been like with Brady? I mean, he was in that first class, sticks with the coaching transition.
Yep.
How integral has he been kind of side by side with you in building this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's been tremendous, been consistent, determined. The same words that I used for that senior class, obviously, specifically for Brady. I think we were looking up yesterday, I think he's 24 and 13 as a starter here, which would be third in all time. You know, Chase Daniels was 30 and 11. And then you got Brad Smith was 26 and 25, or 25 and 26, one of those two. So, you know, as far as a guy who's been here, won a lot of football games for us, like you said, stayed consistent, believed in himself. It means the world to him. And it's not just him, it's Will Norris, it's Mitch Walters, it's Drake Heismeyer, it's Jack Meyer, it's Luke Bauer. You know, these guys all came in at the same time and all stayed. And, you know, I think Drake has one of those all-time quotes. You know, didn't do it for the money, didn't do it for the fame, he did it because he loves the University of Missouri. I just remind him he's not famous or rich, but he did it for the University of Missouri.
How much time have you spent thinking maybe that this is Brady's last game on Furrow Field, and then what his legacy might be when he leaves that?
We're all aware that it's our last game at Furrow, and we've talked about it as the team on Monday, and we'll mention it again today. So we're all aware of what that is. That's something that we have a constant reminder of. These are the greatest days of our lives, but they're not forever, right? So you gotta maximize the moments, and like we told them in August, the days drag on, but the months fly by, and now we're at the end of this season, and I haven't thought about legacy or anything like that yet. Let's play the game. Let's play the game, and once we finish that game, then we'll Google and Wikipedia all of our legacies.
Eli, you guys have obviously beat Arkansas on senior day before. You know, how much sweeter does it make a stint on senior day to win against a rival?
Well, I think, you know, there can be a lot of mixed messages throughout the week. I think the biggest thing for us is this is about the seniors. And rivalry week is important, and the Battle Line Trophy is important, but more importantly for us is playing for those guys and sending those guys out the right way. And, you know, the north end zone is going to look totally different from now on. As soon as we're done with that game, they're going to be massive renovations. So this is one of the last times that this group, or any group, is going to get a chance to play at Furrow with that set up. And so we want to make sure we put our best game on tape. It's going to be a challenge. They have a say in the fight too. They're a really good football team. I mean, they are a good football team.
Yeah. What would it mean program momentum wise to finish with 2 wins this season and kind of carry that 25 and beyond?
I don't know that it's really that big of a deal, honestly, for the momentum piece. I think it's more about a legacy piece for this senior class and for this year's team. I mean, if you think back 3 years ago, I mean, people don't really remember, did you win that game or win that game? And transfers understand what we're building and the consistency. Recruiting classes understand what we're building and the consistency we had. I don't think it's going to be determined by a one-game snapshot of whether or not we're going to continue to get players. It's really going to be about more, what's the revenue share number than the win-loss number.
Coach, with the senior class, how much do you think of the aspect of it being, we've got like Brady who's been around for a long time, is the face of this, and guys who've been around a long time and, you know, played different roles, and guys who've just come in for a year are doing this? How much do you think of that kind of mixture? That is?
Yeah, we talk about all of it. I think it's all a mixture. It's like I said in my opening statement, you had some guys that were from Missouri that were true sons. Like I said, Drake and Mitch and Luke and Will and Jack Meyer and Brady Cook, and you had other guys that chose to come here, Johnny Walker, that's been here the whole time, and then you got guys that chose to be a part of us for 1 year. And that's, you know, the Marcus Bryants, the Champ Flags. But they all made up what we are today, and it takes all of us. That's the brotherhood that we've built, and some have done more, some have done less, but we've all contributed this year to what we've accomplished, and we're really grateful for all those guys making that choice.
Eli, with Armand Mimbu, just how has he exemplified the character you guys are trying to build on the field with his physicality, and then off the field as well, just with his mindset?
Yeah, Armand's really played well the last 3 games. Been a big point of emphasis for us, playing physical at the point of attack. quarterback, and I think he's handled his job really, really well. I think it's just the continued for him maturing and growth. Obviously came in and played as a true freshman, and every year, every game shows more and more growth. I think the game slows down.
Coach, having seen Arkansas pretty much every year now, just how has this year's team evolved from what you've seen maybe last year especially?
Well, obviously last year they were going through some coordinator stuff and changes within their team. But I do think the defensive identity under Coach Pittman has been consistent, relentless pursuit to the football. They're playing a little bit more three safety defense in the last 3 games, which is very similar to what they did with Coach Odom. So you can tell there's a program style, complementary football. But obviously Coach Williams does a tremendous job getting those guys playing hard, playing fast. You know, they've since I've been here coaching, I mean, Arkansas has had really, really good linebacker play. And that's consistent through Coach Williams, who's obviously was a elite linebacker himself at Auburn. And so those guys really stand out. Their defensive line has improved and continued to improve. They retained some really good players and then added some players, so they've got more depth there. On the offensive side of the ball, I think their quarterback, obviously, Coach Petrino is well known for his quarterback prowess, and he's done a tremendous job with their quarterback. And Jaquindon Jackson, Coach Petrino's always believed in having a big back. They really established the run, and they're explosive in the pass game, so it's complementary football.
A lot of people are assuming that Saturday is also the last time Luther will play here. Have you had any conversations with him, and will he walk on Saturday?
I have had conversations with Luther. We are in those conversations. I'm never gonna steal anybody's thunder or spotlight. But I would just say that we're very fortunate for Luther to have been here for 3 seasons. He will walk on Saturday. No decisions have been made, but that is an opportunity for him to make a decision without having, thinking that he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to to the fans. So he will walk Saturday, similar to when I believe they both walked in 2020.
Coach, how do you contain a receiver like Andrew Armstrong?
Yeah, contains the wrong word. I think you gotta limit yards after catch. I think he is an explosive route runner. Obviously, he's got great length and can get over the top. So, gotta do a great job of being on top of the routes, and then need to do a good job of tackling. They do a really good job of creating yards after catch through some of their crossing schemes. So, we're gonna have to do a really good job tackling. Obviously, the weather could be an intriguing factor in this game. Haven't played in the snow game. It's looking like we might get one of those. I don't know if anybody here is a weather person, but it's looking like that, right? So, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
You all recruited Armstrong when
We
he was
did.
in the transfer portal,
We did,
correct?
We did.
I know you're focused on this one, and then obviously have bowl game near the end of the year, but just what does the week or 2 after this game look like for you guys, since such a hectic period? Do you kind of immediately have to go into evaluation of this team and then look ahead to next year?
Yeah, Sunday night we'll have a staff meeting, and we will finalize what we've been discussing for the last 4 weeks, which is roster evaluation, management, and retention. Saturday or Wednesday, we'll sign our freshman class. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday through Friday, we'll meet with every player on our team, kind of see where their mind is. Have discussions on player retention, which means, NIL revenue share conversations to see where everybody's at, what's those negotiations look like, and then really December 9th becomes what would be considered, free agency for everybody on your football team. So, the most important thing for us, obviously, is to sign our freshman class, retain the great players that we have on our roster, and then build moving forward. It's gonna happen fast, and there's a lot of moving parts on top of whatever else could be going on, whether it's bowl games, staff, adjustments, basketball games, there's all kinds of things going on. So what it looks like is, keeping your head on a swivel and, making the best decisions you can with the information you have on hand, and go from there. Fortunately, we've been able to handle some of this stuff already. We spent the better part of the first or the second bye week having some discussions already with current roster players to retain those guys. So we feel like we're in a good place there and ahead, but never know.
Coach, two-part question.
You get two-part answers.
In last week's game, Blake, you did have a kick go out of bounds on the kickoff. I wanted to know, when things like that happen, is the ball just carrying on him and he's trying to hit a particular part of the field y'all want him to kick it to, or is it just, is it just carrying out of bounds on him, or?
It's all been the same kick, it's all been on the same hash, the miss hits. We've got 4 out of bounds kicks this year, which is 4 too many. We will be making some adjustments on that, not for him, but just making some adjustments on how we need to place the ball. Because it's been a momentum killer, and it's been, our defense doesn't really respond, or hasn't responded as well as we would like in those situations. So it's something that we have to adjust. It goes back to my main comment since the first bye week. And inconsistency in our kicking game has been an Achilles heel for us this year. And we've got to improve that, and that's not just Blake, that's punting, that's all of it. We have not been consistent as we need to be. And I think part of that's growing, Blake handling both duties. I think part of that is, it's different when you're the man. It's easy when you're the backup and you don't have the pressure, but it's different when you gotta go out there and do it consistently. So, it's part of like, 3 years ago when I was coaching Brady, and there were some of those challenges too. We gotta continue coaching. He's a very coachable young man, but yeah, those are killers.
And the second part of that is just, how do you think, if there is snow, how that'll affect this, and especially since you said haven't played in the snow game, so how do you kind of prepare for that?
Well, the first thing we do is we practice in the weather we play in, so we'll be outside all week instead of in the indoor, and try to get used to the bodily temperature. There's 2 different types of snow. There's dry snow. Wet snow sticks and compacts, makes it a little bit more difficult to throw, catch, make a slicker ball. So you have to be more cognizant of the way that you're utilizing your cleats and running, because the field will, the snow will clamp and be a factor on route running and slippage. So there's some things as a staff that we've already put in place to prepare for, but the reality of it is, that's just part of the game.
Anything else for Coach? Great, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank y'all.